Hey, welcome back, guys. So my first video um, has recently hit 50 views, which is pretty cool. I haven't checked the likes. I think it's like 15, maybe more. I think it was 15 last time I checked it. It was at like 30 something views. So I'm pretty happy about that. Pretty proud. Pretty cool. I'm excited. But my last video did not do well, and I think it's because it was too long. I didn't want it to be very long, but it was just a very long movie, very complex. So I know no one wants to watch a fucking 30-minute long video or however long it was. 20, I think it was like 27 minutes. So I'm gonna keep this one pretty short, very vague. And I also, I don't want to spoil the movie. I want you guys to be able to watch these. And, I have the DVD for this one. So if anyone that knows me personally, because, if you don't know me personally, if someone told you about my channel, like one of your friends, or this movie you really wanted to see a review of, and you scroll down and you saw my video or whatever, then, that's cool. I think it'd be really cool if anyone that, once people who don't know you, more and more people who don't know you start watching your videos, that's when it's like, you kind of made it. Not made it, but like, you're a real YouTuber, I guess. But if any of you know me personally, I'll be more than happy to lend you the disc. If you want to watch it. It's called Requiem for a Dream. Sorry. Requiem for a Dream. It stars Jared Leto. And Jared Leto is a heroin addict in this film. He's got a black friend named Tyrone. I know, right? And then he's got a love interest, a girlfriend named Mary. And then his mother is named shit. Where did I write? Sarah Goldfarb. So yeah, Sarah. So yeah, those are our characters, and the editing style is very unique, very fast paced. Like the shots of, them doing drugs. It's like the pill pops and then like the heroin gets poured and then like it's just all happens really fast. And yeah, super fast jump cuts of taking drugs and then like interesting time lapses of them tripping afterwards. It really like puts you. It does a good job of like kind of putting you into the characters like understanding how they feel when they're high. It reminds me a little bit of Train Spotting, which I've seen. I think I reviewed it. I might not have. Yeah, and then it also reminds me a little bit of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, or yeah, Las Vegas. No, wait, is that the name of it? It's the one with Johnny Depp. Fear and Loathing in Nevada, in Las Vegas. I think it's Las Vegas. Yeah. Anyway, I really like that too, and that does a great job of. Does a great job of getting you, like, making you feel fuzzy in the head, like confused, like you would feel if you were doing drugs. It kind of like puts you into that, you know, like the Wolf of Wall Street. While it follows a drug user in Jordan Belfort, we don't really feel that feeling. We don't like get to see his perspective. We just see like the effects. We see like how he is, his addiction. We don't like. We're not led to feel high like him, if that makes sense. So I thought the way they handled like drug addiction was like pretty interesting. And then the mother, so Harry, played by Jared Leto, is attempting to, so him and his black friend Tyrone, whose name so him and his black friend are always trying to score, and they decide that they're tired of being broke and they want to start selling. So there's a pretty fast montage of them selling drugs, and they do pretty well. Tyrone even gets involved with some gangs and gets a promotion, or is about to get a promotion. And the love between Mary and Harry is pretty good. It's pretty well done, I think. And so The opening scene is pretty interesting. It's of Harry and Tyrone stealing his mother's TV so that they can sell it for drug money. Um, and the mother like knows about this and just lets them do it because she like I don't know, she just lets them do it and it's kind of interesting. Um, but Harry and Mary, his mother, both have separate fantasies that happen that are unexpected, um, that don't even seem like dreams. They're not. There's no preface given. It's just something happens and then all of a sudden, what? It was actually a dream. It was actually a fantasy, and they're pretty interesting. Like one is of Harry was imagining stealing a gun from a police officer. Um, and so at first you're like, oh my god, they just stole this gun from a police officer, and then you realize that's just his fantasy. And then Mary imagines stabbing someone with a fork, and then that turns out to not happen. Um, the mother, she watches this TV show. I think it's called. I think it's called. No, I'm not even gonna. I'm not even gonna guess because then I'll just get it wrong. But it's this TV show about like weight loss and motivation and stuff. And she watches it and she wants to fit into this red dress that she bought for Harry's graduation. It's kind of a symbol of like, when a happier time because that's when her husband was still alive, Harry's father, who I believe was named Harold. I think he's named after him. Anyway, so she starts trying to lose weight to fit into this dress, and so she stops like not eating, starts taking a bunch of pills to like suppress her appetite, and she ends up taking a lot of pills and becoming a drug addict herself, and slowly falls off the wagon. But before that, there's a pretty emotional, very well acted monologue given by the mother, where she tells Harry how lonely she is, how sad she is. She's like, I'm old, I'm running out of time, I'm running out of reasons to live. Like, you're gone, my husband's gone, I'm just in this house by myself. So this show, me losing weight, might be kind of unrealistic, and it might be kind of harmful, but it gives me a reason to smile. It gives me a reason to wake up. I suggest looking that up on YouTube. It's very, very emotional, very well acted. Yeah, there's lots of interesting angles used, lots of like POV shots or like reverse shots from like the character's face, going that way. Um, yeah, some pretty interesting, uh, some pretty interesting angles that they use. Kind of reminds me of Lighthouse. Uses a lot of interesting angles as well. It's got an iconic soundtrack. I mean, um, it's one that you most definitely have heard. I mean, just look it up, Requiem for a Dream soundtrack, and you will recognize it. I promise you. Which there's a lot of iconic soundtracks that like I didn't know were from certain films. So like hearing it gave me a lot of satisfaction because I've heard it before so many times, used in different dramatic commercials or whatever. Um, it's probably even been ripped off in other films, and I finally found out where it was from. So I definitely looked that up as well. That's really cool. Um, yeah, and like I said, this is just a huge like I'm just glossing over stuff, no details really. But Harry's arm eventually turns purple from all the heroin. He's totally fucked up. He's just got some kind of infection. And the last, I want to say, 15 minutes is some of the most intense, fast editing, like insane, just like it's pure insanity on film. Well, actually, let me rewind a little bit. I want to talk about the mother Sarah Goldfarb's. I want to talk about her insanity for a little bit. She starts off. She's a very nice young lady, old woman. I mean, very nice, very loving. Loves her son, even though he's a fuck up. Even though he's a heroin addict. Puts him on a pedestal. Really cares about him and believes the best about him, like doesn't want to accept the bad things he's done or what he's gotten into. And she really cares about this show. Like she feels she's obsessed with it. She wants to fit into that red dress. It's her goal. It's her only thing that drives her. And she's doing well, but she starts taking way too many pills. And eventually she starts acting like a crazy woman on the subway. Like her hair is all unkempt. And she's just mumbling and, talking about, I'm going to be on TV. I'm going to be on TV. Or my son's going to see me on TV. I gotta know when I'm going to be on TV. And like she's freaking out. She goes to the place where they told her that she won the competition, and she's like, hey, when am I going to be on TV? And they like call the cops, and they send her to the hospital, but none of the medication, she doesn't respond to any of it. She's built up an immunity, I guess. She's just, while she's in a fucked up state of mind, she also has a lot of hallucinations, similar to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Like she believes the fridge is gonna attack her and like eat her, and then she sees like the characters from the TV come out and stuff. It's pretty intense. Like she was tripping out. Like she's having more paranoia and a more fucked up trip than her son. But I mean, he's also a seasoned drug addict. We don't know how long, but it's implied that he's been doing it for a long time. Let me think what else. So yeah, she just goes crazy, and while she's vulnerable, while she's still in a fucked up state of mind, they get her to sign a thing to do some alternative testing, and they start using electroshock therapy. And so the last 15 minutes or so, or 10 minutes, something like very close to the end, is just this intense scene of jump cuts that get shorter and shorter, and like so they cut faster and faster and faster, like they're jumping from different characters' perspectives. So like one character and then the other character and then the other character, like back to back to back to back in like short flashes until they get really fast until it's just like fucking strobe lights almost. So they show Tyrone, who Tyrone Tyrone takes Harry to the hospital to get his arm treated because it's so fucked up. It's like rotting. And so they both get arrested and like sent to this like prison camp thing where they like go and work. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. And so because he's not like physically impaired, he has to go work. So there's like him working and stuff. And he's like in prison, and he's probably got the best of the situations of all of them. Maybe second best. And then it shows jump cuts of Harry being hauled off on a stretcher because Harry being hauled off on a stretcher, and then Mary. So there's like another side plot because there's like no more drugs. They're trying to get more. They're trying to score drugs, and they're running out. They can't buy any more to use or to sell or do anything. It's just dried up. So Mary has to go fuck her brother or her uncle or something, who's very pervy, and he's like, all right, I'll give you $2,000 if you fuck me. Super gross. Not shown, but it's still gross. It's very gross. And that's who she imagines stabbing with the fork, obviously. But so she has to do that. So they get the $2,000 so that they can buy more drugs. But then some junkie just shoots and then, shoots a gun and scares off the drug dealers, and they start unloading on the crowd and stuff. So that gets messed up for them. So that doesn't work out. But then she decides she's gonna go fuck this other guy, who is like the only guy left with any drugs. So she fucks him in exchange for drugs. And then he invites her to a party, and she agrees to go. And it's not really a party, it's a bunch of men sitting around in a room, like 30 guys, watching like 4 girls like do lesbian stuff to each other. Um, and so they start, I don't even want to get into it. It's just a lot of graphic stuff, but um, basically she has to perform some stuff that she doesn't want to do. And I don't really know why she does it. I mean, they're not like aggressive. Like none of them have like weapons. It's not like some fucked up scene where it's like you still feel uncomfortable, but it's not like they're forcing her into it. It's just that she, I guess, just is so bored or high or whatever that she decides to do it. Maybe she'll get a lot of drugs for an exchange, but so she starts doing some stuff with another woman, and she's not bi or gay. I mean, she's with a man, so we know that she'd have to be at least bi, but I don't think she is. That's anyway. Anyway, and then the mother who's getting electroshock therapy. So it um, cuts between Mary, going ass to ass with some chick, and then Sarah getting her fucking head electrocuted, and then Harry getting hauled off on a stretcher, and then Tyrone being forced to work. And when it comes to the climax, well, it starts getting even faster and faster and faster. The climax is they show Mary finishing, and they show Tyrone throwing up. To add to the grossness, he throws up into like whatever it is he's working on. The work he's doing, he's like using some kind of shovel to like move some white pasty shit around. I don't even know. Like it doesn't even make sense, but he throws up in that, and he's like getting berated by this like officer, calling him a maggot or whatever, calling him a piece of shit. And so yeah, Mary finishes. He throws up, and then they show an image of, they show they show Sarah getting out of the hospital with her hair cut off and all white from the electrocution, and she's like totally a fucking vegetable at this point. Like she's just out of it, and her friends are like crying on the bench. And then Harry is he's got his arm amputated. It's gone. Um, and the love between Mary and Harry, like it was pretty prominent for a long time. I mean, she like when he gets arrested, he's in a holding cell and he calls her, and she says, "Can you come back today?" And he's crying, and he's like, I'll come back today. Okay, I'll come back today." He's not gonna come back that day because he's gonna be fucking arrested. He's in a holding cell. He doesn't have the willpower to tell her, and she doesn't have the willpower to tell him she's gonna go to some guy's house for some fucking, party that's turns out to be really crazy. Anyway, I want this to end it. I wanted it to be 15 minutes, but it's a pretty long movie as well. I'm really just trying to get the bare minimum, the basics. But yeah, I'm gonna stop this at 20, or sooner. Anyway, um, but yeah, there's a pretty powerful scene at the end too. The two most powerful scenes I would say are between Mary and Harry. Harry's the main character, and he cries because he says he needs Mary, and the nurse says she'll come to visit, we'll send for her, and he says she won't come, and he just cries, and he's there, a soul, not a soul, a shell of his former self. And sorry, I didn't mean to say Harry and Mary are the main characters. It's Harry and Sarah. Sarah has the second most screen time, I would say. Maybe Tyrone, but his conflict isn't as great. The stakes aren't as high, I would say. But yeah, Sarah's life is pretty much over as well. She isn't going to be on TV. She did lose a lot of weight, but her health is fucked up for the foreseeable future, and she's old and she's dying, and she just got her head electrocuted. Like we don't really even know what's going on now. So it's pretty sad. It's pretty tragic. Very interesting, worth the watch. A lot of the grosser stuff in the movie isn't really shown. Like we don't have to see. There's one injection that we see which is pretty gross, but for the most part, like the drug taking is not shown. We'll just see like them snorting coke or something. Um, I mean, but it's rated R for a reason. So I mean, if you're fucking like 14 and you're like, oh, I'm gonna watch this, then just don't. Obviously, but um, it's really not as bad as I'm making it sound. There's a lot of good parts. I just talked about the big parts, which is the tragic ending. But there's lots of conversations in the middle that are good, and I mean, yeah. That was Requiem for a Dream. That's my take on it. My review, I would say that I give it a. I feel like I give a lot of ones eights. I'll give this a 8.4 out of 10. 8.4 out of 10. That is my rating. Um, the soundtrack is really really good. Um, so if because I know some of the people who watch this are not the target demographic. Adam, I'm talking about you. Um, Aiden, you might like it. Isaac probably won't watch it. You probably won't watch it, but you might like it if you did watch it. Um, but the soundtrack is definitely worth checking out, just so that you can know. Oh, hey, now I know where that soundtrack comes from. Anyway, 8.4 out of 10. Requiem for a Dream. I definitely recommend watching it. Anyone wants the DVD, hit me up. And I did not stick to my word. 21 minutes. All right, peace out, guys. Love you.